Now, there is a significance to Trump being in Waco, Texas, and we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Waco, Texas. Just bring this back to some people's memory, and some people may not have even been born when this incident happened in Waco, Texas. Trump did what we expected at the rally. He did exactly that, and Waco is significant for him. He was whitewashing January the 6th and playing, you guessed it, the martyr. That is the role that he plays extraordinarily well. This headline right here, the timing of Waco itself, Trump rally falls during the anniversary of Waco's dark past. Donald Trump picking Waco, Texas for the first rally of 2024 campaign Saturday will put him in the middle of a big Republican state that has reliably delivered him big crowds. It will also put him not far from the grassy prairie where a standoff in 1993 between US law enforcement and Branch Davidians infamously resulted in the deaths of more than 80 members of the religious cult and 4 federal agents, and there were several children that died. I believe over 20 children died, almost 30 children died that day. And of course, the standoff was led by Branch Davidian cult leader David Koresh. And a Branch Davidian pastor spoke about Trump showing up in Waco, Texas. Take a look.
He's making a statement, I believe, by coming to these stomping grounds where the government, the FBI, laid siege on this community, just like they laid siege on Mar-a-Lago and went in and took his stuff. That's what they wanted to do here. They wanted to come in and take the guns and everything. Well, he's making a statement. He's not coming right out and saying, well, I'm doing it because I want you to know, what happened there was wrong. But he implies it. And for him to use the same language, a siege, he felt that the FBI was besieging his Mar-a-Lago estate.
You can see from that interview, this pastor is totally all in for Trump. He believes the lies that President Trump is telling. They broke into Mar-a-Lago and took his stuff. His stuff? No, that is not what happened. But here we are. This is a pastor saying this. And the Democratic representative, Jared Markowitz, spoke to the direction of the Trump and the cult. Take a look.
Well, there was a pretty nasty social media post that he put up there where he used this Christopher Walken monologue, and he talked about how he was going to be the lion that kills all the hyenas chasing him. Are you worried at all?
Well, speaking of hyenas, I mean, you don't see stadiums of people chanting "lock her up" anymore because it's not, apparently it's a little ironic for his side. But look, this is a guy who went to Waco, Texas to bring back visions of David Koresh. I mean, he's got Ted Nugent, following him around as his spiritual advisor. I mean, it's very strange what's going on right now with Donald Trump.
It is strange indeed. What sent those 80 people to their deaths in Waco, Texas, including almost 30 children and 2 pregnant women, was following David Koresh to his dying end as the building they were in set ablaze and exploded. Trump is leading his cult in an eerily similar fashion, directing them to just believe whatever comes out of his mouth. Claiming the government is out to get him, he riles up people by saying those words, especially people who are already predisposed to believe exactly what he is saying. And his calls for action in the same way he called for action on January 6th. And we see how that turned out. It didn't turn out the way his video portrays it. People got hurt and people got killed, and they were trying to overthrow the government on January 6th. Let us not forget that. And this time feels different though, especially with the ties to Waco and Koresh. It feels as if the followers are more hungry, more dangerous, more ready for Trump to take these types of actions and say the words they're thirsting for it, especially if he continues to prop them up as victims. And he's making the people who sieged the Capitol, make no mistake, he's painting them as victims. And like Koresh, Trump thinks he's a savior. And that is indeed one of the most scariest parts about what we are discussing today. A second coming of Jesus Christ. He thinks he is being persecuted like no one before him, and he feels that thought that belief that he can permeate it, push it through to his base. And it seems like he very well could. Yasmin?
Yeah, I would love it if we could just stop electing narcissists into public office. That would be really, really great. But it's not necessarily anything new to compare Trump to a cult leader, but I wouldn't be surprised if he takes the full plunge. Cults are nothing if not profitable for the leader, and we all know how much Trump loves his money. He's already been compared to Jesus Christ. He's already been called the second coming. And it's already been said that his presidency was divinely guided. And who knows, maybe it was. I don't know how the divine works, but I would like to think that it operates from a place of love and not from whatever place Trump comes from. But the biggest grift of Trump's life was convincing working class Americans that he's somehow one of them and that he cares about them remotely. He isn't and he doesn't, and we know that. He's not relatable to practically anyone, but he simultaneously has managed to raise himself up as some of the epitome of strength and masculinity for his supporters. They trust him to fight for them and they look up to him. And if you think someone is wonderful and divinely inspired and you see that person getting attacked in the media and by the legal system, it's an easy sell that your fighter is somehow also a victim. And that's what he's doing.
Yeah, he is. And he is so good at it. And that is what is so scary. He is masterful at it. I mean, he's an actor though. I mean, he had reality TV show for many, many, many years. He honed in those skills both in boardrooms and also on TV. But you're absolutely right about that, Yasmin. If we could only stop electing narcissists.